Basically, there are 5 important parts to a chart. There are the planets, the signs, the houses, aspects, and the chart angles. The chart angles, of course, are the ascendant, the midheaven, the equatorial ascendant, which is often miscalled the east point. The east point is not the correct name. Equatorial ascendant is the correct name. The vertex, the co-ascendant, the polar ascendant, the Aries point, and if you want to include the nodes of the moon, then the nodes of the moon really belong in that category of chart angles. So what happens is you take a chart. There's a sample chart. I picked Kim Novak. Why did I pick Kim Novak? I don't know. But I will say this, Kim Novak has got the largest and strongest number of inconjuncts or quincunxes of any chart that I have ever run into. She has a lot of oppositions in here. Of course, Kim Novak is a very popular movie actress. She appeared in many movies and is well known throughout Hollywood. And here is her natal chart. Now, what do we have when we look at a natal chart? Well, we have the planets. You can see the planets on the outside over here. Her moon is in Libra, her sun is in Aquarius. And then we have the signs of the zodiac. So you have the planets and the signs. And then the houses. The houses traditionally are shown in numbers, starting with the ascendant. Here's the ascendant over here. And they go 1, 2, 3, all the way around to the 12th house. We're going to talk about the meanings of those houses a little bit later after I get done rambling around over here. And then you have the aspects or the angles, which are shown by the lines that go across the chart. There's a square, there's oppositions, and so forth and so on. And then last but not least, but very importantly, you have the chart angles, the ascendant, the midheaven, and then not shown, oh yeah, the equatorial ascendant is here, the vertex is here, the co-ascendant is here, and the polar ascendant is there. And of course, the Aries point is the Aries point is the Aries point, which is always 0 of Aries, but it is a very important point. And you should always include aspects to the Aries point and see how they work in a chart. I just tell you that from experience. And of course, the nodes of the moon. You can see her node of the moon, north node of the moon is in the 1st house at 7 Pisces. It's kind of hard to read on that small chart. So that's what a chart is. Those are the parts of the chart. That's how you read in a chart. So what is the astrological house? That's what the center of this talk today is about. A house divides space around an event or a birth. That's very important to understand. That just because you have a flat chart doesn't mean that that's really flat. That exists in another dimension, that there's space around there. So if you go back to, say, the chart over here, the space for the 1st house, the space for the 2nd house, the space for the 3rd house, the space for the 4th house, the space for the 11th house. That's the space that's occupied there. Now, what does it mean when you have a house that has a lot of planets or a house that has no planets? I like to use this analogy. Suppose we have a fountain, and that fountain is shooting water up right out of the middle of the chart over here, and there's 12 channels that this water flows from the fountain. Okay, the fountain has water, it goes into this channel. The fountain has water, it goes into this channel. The fountain has water, it goes into that channel. Now, imagine these as rocks, and there's water flowing over there. So you have this channel and the water flows and there's no rocks. You have this channel and the water flows and there's lots of rocks. All of a sudden it's all disturbed and it's white and it's foaming. What grabs your attention? What space grabs your attention? The space where it's calm, or the space where the water and the energy is flowing and it's all turmoil? Well, pretty easy to see once you have a chart in front of you. That's what's going to grab your attention. And when you look at a chart and your first look at the chart, ask yourself that question. As the energy flows out of the center of this chart and goes into these different divisions, which are the divisions and where are the places that grab your attention? And it's very important at the beginning, when you're first starting to look at a chart, that you ask that question so you can get a good perspective on the chart itself. So I hope that helps a little bit. Now, the astrological house, it divides space around an event or a birth. It shows the planets, the asteroids, etc., in their correct space. Now, there's different theories of house construction. So some house theories say that space should be cut this way. Some house theories say that space should be cut that way. We're going to go into that a little bit. But for the time being, let's just look at the basics of what the astrological house is.